Hello once again. This is the last video in the history section. I'm going to try to keep this to at the same time as the last one, about 7 minutes. This is Stalingrad, one of the best war films out there. Really shows the harsh realities of war. Great film, my favourite war films. Absolutely outstanding. From the German perspective, it's surrounded in Stalingrad by the Russians. Great film. This is a Russian film, Star, World War II. The Soviet Union battling the Germans. It's another good film. There's a lot of good war films out there, you know, particularly from Europe. You know, you just got to, you know, I think sometimes a lot of them go on the radar. It's a real shame. It's another one, Tali and Tala, 1944. It's a Finnish film, battling the Russians. The Finns allied with Germany, not for any ideological reasons. You know, they were just battling a common enemy. It's interesting to note as well, the Finns, you know, didn't allow any of even though being allied with the Germans, didn't allow any of their you know, population sympathies with the Germans, you know, in regard to the Jews. You know, they were just fighting, you know, the Russians after the Winter War. You know, great film. Talking of the Winter War, this is Talvisota, another Finnish film. It's even better than the last one. This film's absolutely incredible, one of my favourites. And the Finns battling the Russians in 1940 in the Winter War, 40 or 39, I think it's 1940. Great film. You get a longer version of this from Finland, but I don't think it's got English subtitles. Fantastic film. Finns as well give as good as they got in the war. They only won due to the massive amount of Russian troops, you know, against them. They did pretty well. You know, the Russians took over 400,000 casualties in the war, and they breached the Mannerheim line in the end for just sheer amount of numbers. Great film. Brilliant film. Taras Bulba, this isn't too bad. Yul Brynner playing a Cossack chief. One of his sons, Tony Curtis, he's got another son as well. I don't know the actor's name who plays him. Send them both off to Poland for their education. Poles are kind of the villains of the piece in this. Cossacks eventually raised the flag of rebellion. But of course, you know, Tony Curtis, while he was in Poland, he not only kills a nobleman's son, but he also falls in love with a Polish princess, as you do. And culminates in a massive battle. Very un-Hollywood ending as well when you see it. I like this film. Insane kind of singing as well about how great it is being a Cossack. Sure it was. Yul Brynner looks really good in this. This is a good little film. Classic sort of history. Yeah, well, probably not historically accurate, but still great. Tecumseh, the Last Warrior. It's about the Shawnee chieftain, very famous, trying to form a massive Indian coalition, stop the encroachment of the United States on Indian land. Really good film. David Clennon plays William Henry Harrison in this. Becomes the president, of course. David Clennon was out of the Thing. Who was in the Thing? When they're testing the blood, when they're all tied down to the seats, he's the one that's got the alien kind of form in him, and his head kind of opens up. Yeah, that's David Clennon. He's very good in this. This is a very good film. Culminates in the Battle of the Thames. I'd like to see a few British troops at Battle of the Thames, because there were, I think, under Isaac Brock, but this film kind of ignores that. But you can tell it's working with a limited budget, and the battle sequences in the frontier at the beginning, they're very good. Tigerland, Joel Schumacher. It's not bad, mainly for Colin Farrell's performance. You know, he's good. The Treaty, one of the most accurate and best historical films out there. This is a bootleg of this. This was an Irish film chronicling War of Independence. Irish rebels conducting a guerrilla war against the British Empire, led by Michael Collins. They bring the British Empire to the negotiation table. Michael Collins goes over there to negotiate with Arthur Griffith, with British delegates. Ian Bannon plays Lloyd George. Jim Fellows plays Winston Churchill. The guy playing De Valera in this is also magnificent. I don't know the actor's name, I do apologise. He put Alan Rickman's to shame in Michael Collins. Great film, very accurate, fantastic, thoroughly recommend it. The Trench, low budget World War I film with Daniel Craig. It's not too bad. The Tracker, Australian film, showing the plight of the Aborigines. I know David Copley. Copley is how you pronounce his name. He's an Aboriginal actor. I know him from Proposition and Chanter Jimmy Blacksmith. Gary Sweet's in this as well. Big fan of him from Blue Murder. Played Chris Flannery in that. It's a good film. Troy, not so good. Didn't really enjoy this. I enjoy the beach landing sequence. That's pretty good. I'm not a massive fan of it. Utu or Utu. So if I pronounce that wrong, you know, if someone from maybe New Zealand or Marek Shashin could tell me if I pronounce that. A Maori who's working with the Colonials, the Colonial police. His family are massacred by them, and he basically goes on the warpath, basically. Wreaks a whirlwind of vengeance on them. Great film. You've seen an Australian horror film called Undead. They rip off the two shotguns melded together from this. It's a good film, really good. Warlord, classic history film. Charlton Heston playing Norman Warlord, Richard Boone being his right hand man, and fighting Frisian pirates. Really good film. Really like this. Great set piece in it as well. Van Diemen's Land. It's another film chronicling what occurred in the Tasmanian wilderness with Alexander Pierce and the other convicts that escaped there. And him and 7 other convicts went in the wilderness and only he came back. And the tale of murder and cannibalism. Great film. Another great Australian film. The Vikings. Another great film. Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis, Ernest Borgnine still also shows in this playing a Viking chieftain. Really goes out, you know, with glory, fighting a wolf pack in a pit with a sword in his hand. Great film. Nice siege of the castle at the end as well. Probably not historically accurate, but you know, still great. Big fan of Kirk Douglas. We Were Soldiers, early Vietnam film. I enjoyed this. Like the bayonet charge at the end as well. When Trumpets Fade, another World War II film. Again, like Saints and Soldiers. It's about the German offensive in the Ardennes. Timothy Olyphant's in this, young Timothy Olyphant. Wicked Springs, another American Civil War film. When the Shag Stood Barley. It's a film about Irish rebels in the War of Independence against the British, fighting the Black and Tans. Black and Tans are kind of retired and semi-retired British soldiers. Went over to Ireland. They were known for their brutality. Such a burning part of Cork City to the ground, and they went around with corks in their hats afterwards, kind of happy at the feet. Good film, really good film. Ken Loach does a good job in this, directing this. Great good. Liam Cunningham as well, big fan of him. He's real good in it as well. Young Winston, Simon Ward playing young Winston Churchill. Robert Shaw playing his father, Randolph Churchill. Really good. There's some good battle sequences, particularly young Winston being in northwest India. And the northwest frontier in India. The Battle of Omdurman in the Sudan, where Kitchener crushed the Mahdists, and then he gets captured in South Africa, fighting the Boer War. Great film. Really, Robert Shaw as well, playing his father, who dies of syphilis. Really good film. Really recommend that. Attenborough does a great job directing that. Zulu, what can you say? Just classic film. My only real gripe is, I know Stanley Baker, being of Welsh extraction, I think I put a few more Welshmen that was actually there. I mean, the regiment was it was a Staffordshire regiment. There was a lot more Midlanders there. Quite liked a few more to have been there, but great film nonetheless. The last film on the shelf, and last in the history section, is Ultimate Attack, aka Zulu Dawn. Great film. Chronicling the British Empire's worst ever defeat at the hand of a native force at the Battle of Isandlwana, January 22nd, 1879. Great film. Burt Lancaster's fantastic as Anthony Durnford, and Peter O'Toole, to be honest, ain't bad either as Chelmsford. Great film. Really recommend that. Get the French version, bro, because the picture is much better than most of the releases. Great. That's the end of the history stuff now. I'm going to be going to the action. Big action fan. So thanks for watching, subscribing. See you later, bye.